Hi everybody, I'm Elena, fitness professional, nutritionist and naturopath, and today I would like to talk to you about protein, why protein is important to us, how much protein we need in one day, and what to do if we don't get enough protein from our food. So why is protein so important for us? So protein is vital for most processes in our body, so basically it's keeping us alive. Some of the things protein does are building muscles, regulating cortisol levels, supporting our sleep and production of hormone called melatonin, which is an important hormone for our sleep. Also, protein is building blocks for all of our hormones. And we know that our hormones are basically our everything. It's our health, it's our beauty, it's our mood, it's our energy levels. So it's all depends on how optimal our hormones levels are. What else does protein do? It promotes healthy aging, it strengthens our hair, skin and nails. It also balances blood sugar levels, so which is important to prevent inflammation in the body. Protein also regulates hunger hormones, so it's basically helping us to promote healthy weight. Just on that, so how does protein help with healthy weight? So your body burns more calories digesting protein than other macronutrients. So macronutrients such as carbohydrates or fat, for example. So protein has a higher thermic effect comparing to fat and carbohydrates. This means that we need bigger amount of calories to digest protein. Muscle mass is one of the biggest drivers of age-related diseases. So because we lose muscle, we increase inflammation because what muscle does is keeps the inflammation down. So we do need it, especially when we age, the inflammation levels normally go up. So we do need to consume more protein as we age. So how much do we need? How much protein do we need? So recommended daily amount is set to 0.80 gram per kilogram of your ideal body weight. So that's per day. So if someone weighs, for example, 75 kilograms, they will need about 60 grams of protein per day. However, so we need to recognize that recommended daily amount is a minimum target. So basically it's something that needs to keep us alive and cover our just basic physiological needs and functions. So this is the minimum amount and does not reflect the optimal amount of protein that we actually need to thrive. So long-term studies actually indicate that we need 1.5 at least 1.5 grams of protein per 1 kilogram of our body weight to actually get benefits and get the optimal health that we need. So if I talk about myself, for example, I weigh 60 kilos, so therefore I need 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram. So that makes 90 grams of protein per day that I would need to consume. So this is the amount for optimal health, at least what we need to consume. So it also depends on how much strength training we do, on our age, how we can get muscles, whether we can get them easily or not so easily when we get older. So when we get older, after 40, our muscle mass really rapidly starting to decrease. So I would say for older people, it has to be around 2 grams per 1 kilogram a day. So, but what does it look like? How does the portion of protein look like? So if I need to consume 90 grams of protein, basically if you get 100 grams of chicken breast, it will only contain 30 grams of protein. So 100 grams of chicken breast does not contain 100 grams of protein. It will only contain 30 grams of protein. So that's out of 90. If I eat one chicken breast, that's kind of a third of what I need to consume in a day. So if you take 100 grams of beef, for example, it's about the same as chicken, roughly about 30 grams of protein for 100 grams of beef. If you take fish, depends on the fish obviously, but it's around 20 grams of protein per 100 grams of fish. If you take eggs that are considered to be really good source of protein, well, one egg only contains 6 grams of protein. So if I need 90 grams of protein in the breakfast time, if I eat 3 times a day, breakfast time, if I eat eggs, technically I need 5 eggs to cover 30 grams of protein, which is a third of my daily amount that I need to consume, which is quite a lot. So that's why if you consume eggs, it's best to take the yolks, some of the yolks out, because if you have 5 eggs, you'll have enough protein, but then you'll also have too much fat, which is in the yolk of the egg. So protein whites are where the protein is. Egg whites are where the protein is. So basically the point is that people don't get enough protein. We don't have 5 eggs a day. We don't have 3 chicken breasts necessarily a day to get the recommended daily amount. So just to say on a portion for easy measure, so you don't have to weigh your food. So one palm size of protein is like your portion size. So for example, chicken, it will be a kind of palm size chicken. That would be about 100 grams, and that would be about 30 grams of protein for you. So common protein sources include eggs, meat, fish, as I said, legumes as well. So also whole grains, nuts and seeds. So legumes is chickpeas, all the beans, lentils and things like that. But meat and fish, basically, typically, they are the highest protein containing foods. So comparing to vegetarian options, to the beans, they only contain, for example, chickpeas only contains about 90 grams of protein per 100 grams. So tofu is only 7 grams of protein per 100 grams. So it's not that much. But if you take pumpkin seeds, for example, they contain 30 grams of protein, and same as almonds is about 20 grams of protein per 100 grams of weight. So that's quite high. So if we talk about meat, so type of protein we consume is very important. So if you take industrial meats from your supermarket, they are full of hormones and antibiotics if you're not buying organic or grass-fed meat. So these animals basically being fed on grain and soy, and this is unnatural to them. They are supposed to be fed on grass. They also are given antibiotics as a preventative measure so they don't get sick, and basically they live longer. And all of that is basically passed on to us when we eat that meat. We consume those antibiotics at the same time, and that will disrupt our microbiome and basically give us inflammation. And inflammation is a cause of most diseases nowadays. So if you look at people with bad microbiome, for example, they struggle to lose weight as well. So they've got bad metabolic health. So their metabolism is really slow. Their metabolism is basically ruined. So, and the same happens to animals. If you disrupt their microbiome with antibiotics, which is the kind of the biggest cause of disrupt microbiome, if they're not grass-fed, basically they will be not healthy animals, and that is when we eat that meat, is basically it all passed down to us. So if they're being fed on antibiotics and hormones, they will have bad metabolic health. That's why if you compare the organic chicken with, for example, normal non-organic chicken is really skinny looking chicken, and non-organic chicken is really big and fat. So why is it fat? Because they basically got bad metabolism and they get fat, and that's the goal of all the farmers to get more weight and basically to get more money. That's why it's happening. That's why these animals being fed on all these hormones, so they don't get sick, so they don't die, so farmers don't lose money, and also they gain weight quicker because they're just basically got bad microbiome and bad metabolism. So basically, if you buy grass-fed meat, it's far more superior in nutrients. It's been raised in the natural environments. The animals been raised in the natural environments. It's got higher levels of omega-3, and omega-3 is really anti-inflammatory fats. So if you can, invest in your health by buying organic or at least grass-fed meat. So just by the way, organic meat also can be not grass-fed, so just look out for organic and grass-fed meat. If we talk about fish, for example, so fish that is farmed, so it's not the wild-caught fish, it also is not that healthy for us. So because it will contain heavy metals in that fish. So because that fish is farmed near the shore, that's where the companies pour all of that waste with lots of industry waste, including the heavy metals. And that fish basically drinks that water, and then we eat that fish, and it is full of heavy metals and different impurities. So it's best to buy wild caught fish. So it's caught deep in the sea where there's not as many pollutants in the water. So it is important to have protein with every meal, especially the breakfast. So a lot of people would have, what would average person have for breakfast? It's cereal, it would be croissants, cereal, toast, things like that. And that is the worst thing you can have for breakfast. So the best thing to have for breakfast is protein. So eggs, fish, meat, and lots of vegetables with it. So, however, if you're a busy person, people don't normally have time to have the full meal like that for breakfast. So that's why on my program, Healthy Body, I actually give for breakfast, I give a lot of smoothies. So why do I give a lot of smoothies for breakfast? It's mainly to get the protein powder in. So obviously it will have lots of greens in the smoothie, so I don't recommend to have just a fruit smoothie, for example, because it will be full of sugar that will spike your sugar level, causing inflammation. So basically the smoothie should contain lots of greens like kale, spinach, some fruit and berries, for example, well, any berries really, that would be the best thing. I always recommend to put little bit of fat. So for example, coconut oil would be a good option. So kind of thumb size of fat, or a tablespoon of fat, or nut butter, for example, like almond butter or something like that. And with all of that, I would put 1 scoop of protein, or about 3 tablespoons of protein powder. So why protein powder is good for us? So it's generally will give you your third of your recommended amount. If you put 1 scoop, it will be around 22 grams of protein, which is great. You can put a little bit more to get 30 grams of protein, for example. So that will give you that amount of protein that you need, and you will just drink smoothie quite quickly in the morning, go to work or whatever you're doing. So smoothie in the morning is quite helpful for busy people. It will have your fiber, it will have your protein. If you have you add coconut oil, it will have fat. So it's basically nutritious meal that you need. So another reason why you should have protein powder and have it in your diet is because if you've got not really good metabolic health and not very good enzymes. And by the way, after the age of 30, especially after the age of 40, most of us don't have enough enzymes to actually digest the meat properly because of different reasons. So we don't produce enough stomach acid as well. So the stomach acid is needed to actually digest the meat properly. So most people nowadays don't have enough stomach acid because of their diet, because of their stress levels. Smoking is really affected greatly. And also the same with digestive enzymes. We just don't produce enough enzymes to digest the meat properly, digest the protein properly. So what happens with protein powder is actually broken down to amino acids. So when you eat meat, for example, what your digestive enzymes and everything do is they break down that protein into amino acids, and those amino acids, then that's what we actually need for all of our processes. Then they can go and wherever they need it in the body, they can be accessed by all our organs and everything else. So basically you don't need protein, you need amino acids, and the actual protein powder is amino acids, already broken down protein into amino acids. So that's why it will actually absorbed by the body better than eating a piece of meat, for example. So just on a low stomach acidity, so how do we know if we have got a low stomach acidity? So you can have a little you can do a little home test. In the morning before you eat or drink anything, you dissolve 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar or lemon juice in 1 glass of water. You drink all of that water and then you wait. So during 15 to 20 minutes, if you've got enough stomach acid, if you've got good stomach acid, you will feel the little bit of a burning sensation in your kind of stomach area. So as it goes down, you will feel the burning sensation and some discomfort as well, which means that is great, is you've got the normal acidity levels or even higher acidity levels could be, but that can be measured by the doctor by swallowing the actual whatever they do, the doctors, they do the proper test. But if you don't have any discomfort, if you don't feel any difference at all, that means that you are likely to have low acidity levels and you will not be digesting food properly. So I know, for example, I don't digest food properly because I was a smoker for most of my life. I was really unhealthy up to the age of 40. My diet was shocking, really bad. So I have low stomach acid. I've done the test. And what I also have before every meal, I either have little water with diluted apple cider vinegar or lemon juice in it. I drink it through the straw so it doesn't damage the teeth, and that will help to increase the acid in your stomach. Another thing that I do quite often is I take betaine chloride. Is the pills is basically acid pills, acid to increase the acid in your stomach. But yeah, I would recommend, I would say that most people with low stomach acid, drinking a little bit of apple cider vinegar diluted in water or lemon juice would be beneficial before you eat protein-rich meal. But that doesn't apply to protein shakes or protein powder, because it's already a pre-digested kind of thing for you. So another thing is to have digestive enzymes. Very important. I have digestive enzymes that are really helpful to digest your food properly. Another thing I would recommend if you've got low stomach acid is don't drink during the food, during the meal. So drink glass of warm water 30 minutes before the food, before you have your meal. Warm water will stimulate the production of bile, and bile needs also for digestion. So it's another thing that is a kind of green liquid that needs to come out when we eat, and it's kind of formed by we stored in our gallbladder, and it's created by liver, stored in the gallbladder, and then released when we actually eat, especially when we eat fat especially. So we needed to disinfect our food for digestion levels. So drinking glass of water, warm hot water 30 minutes before the meal is beneficial, because it will help releasing that bile. But don't drink anything afterwards, before your meal, because then you don't want to dilute that stomach acid that is already low for you. You don't want to dilute it. So you can obviously drink a little bit of water with your meal, to, for example, take some vitamins and drink a little bit of water. That won't make any difference. But don't drink like a proper lots of water, or any other tea, especially tea and coffee are definitely no with the drinking with food, because they are actually contain tannins, which is the anti-neutral substance. They will actually rob you of the nutrients that you get from your food. So don't drink tea and coffee with your meals. If you drink it at all, drink it kind of between your meals. And same with water. So you have your food, and then you don't drink anything for about 1.5 hours, and then you can restart drinking. So whilst your food digesting, you don't want to dilute those stomach acids. So don't drink for 1.5 hours. Then you start drinking again. So drink lots of water between your meals, not with your meals. And it is important to drink a lot of water. So you need to drink at least 30 milliliters of water per 1 kilogram of your ideal body weight. So not of your actual body weight if you're overweight. If you weigh 100 kilo, for example, and you're overweight, you won't be drinking all those gallons of water if you calculate it like that. So no, you look up on Google what's your ideal body weight to your height, and that's what you have as a measurement. So 30 milliliters. So for example, if I weigh 60 kilos, so I basically multiply 30 by 60, and that makes 1,800 milliliters per day at least I should be drinking. Don't drink too much water. So if I go exercising, I will actually have more, so at least 2 liters a day. So it is very important to have a lot of water, because it helps with everything, all of our processes, all our organs, they all need water. So first thing we need is oxygen, and the second thing we need to actually being alive is water, and then the third is protein, because it is a building block. So about the protein powder, so when you buy protein powder, you need to make sure it hasn't got the added sugar in it. It hasn't, and it also got good amount of amino acids. So some will have really small amounts. That's no good, because we need a full kind of spectrum of amino acids in our protein powder. So at least 15 amino acids listed on the ingredients list. And the last thing I wanted to mention is how important the strength training is for maintaining the muscle mass. So as I mentioned before, muscle deteriorates after the age of 40 really fast. So it is essential to do weight training, especially if you're over the age of 40. So for example, I do weight training on a regular basis now. And if I don't do it, if I cut a break for even a week or 2 weeks, I go back to it and I can't lift the weights that I used to lift. As you get older, your muscles just deteriorate so fast, and you you want to look after your muscles. You want to look after, because in your 70s, in your 80s, you want to get up from your chair yourself without help. You want to do things for yourself. You want to be able to get up if you fall. You want to protect your muscle, your bone strength as well. That the training, weight training, strengthens your bone strength as well. So you do need to do weight training. If you've got some dumbbells at home, so you can do free workouts that I do on my account, on the Instagram account, so you can just do those. If you haven't got the dumbbells, you can start with just holding bottles of water in your hands, or I would recommend investing in the stackable dumbbells. So for example, on Amazon, you can get them for £25, something like that. Basically, you can change the weight, you can take the weights off. So it's one set of dumbbell, but you can take kind of the weights off it, and you can start with really small, and as you increase your muscle, you can add those dumbbells. So you don't have to buy set of 5 dumbbells. Just invest in the stackable ones, and that will really be helpful for the weight training at home, for example, or if you've got access to the gym, that's even better. So that's all I wanted to say today. Have a great day, everybody.